This is the grill master, Jimbo Finley. On the fourth Saturday of September, a group of men gathers in the remote area of Cumberland County, Kentucky to reminisce. In the fall of 1980, these men were the senior members of the Tompkinsville High School Bears football team. The 16 that led the Bears to a 7-3 record that season have become 13 with the passing of Bill McClendon, Robert Wiles, and Ricky Davis. It was after the death of Little Bill that Jim Finley talked to teammates Kerry Anderson and Brett Crow about having a reunion that did not involve a funeral. When they agreed with him to plan an annual gathering, Jim volunteered to host the event. The evening allows the men to return to their playing days, if only for a few hours, to relive some of the best times of their lives. Stories are told about teammates and coaches that bring laughter and an occasional tear. Memories are shared about practices, victorious Friday nights, and the heartache of the final game. All agree that they were blessed by the friendships of their teammates and the lessons learned and guidance from the coaches. Those in attendance this year, September 27, 2025, were coaches Larry Moore and Ricky Miller, players David Anderson, Kerry Anderson, Bill Baker, Brett Crow, Brian Dyer, Joey Emmert, Jim Finley, John Garrity, Barry Murphy, and Kevin Pruitt. Those who could not attend were Coach Bill McClendon, Tim Dubry, Kevin Hagan, and Stephen Hedrick. We're going to visit first with Jim Finley, or better known as Jimbo. He's the host of the reunion that you have. And Jimbo, give us a little history about how this started and maybe how long you've been getting together.
When we started, and Kathy and I we moved away from Monroe County in 1986, and we had come back for Little Bill's services when he passed away, and it just occurred to me at that moment that it seems like the only time that we got together anymore was when there was a funeral for somebody, and it just seemed that was sad to me. And so I kind of had this idea come to me to host this and have it down here at the farm and invite everybody. So I had called and talked to Brett Crow and Kerry Anderson and run it by them, and they thought it was a good idea, and that's how it just kind of started. And I can't remember if this is the 7th or 8th year we've done it, but it was right shortly after Little Bill passed away and everything. And it's actually surprised me at the attendance that we have every year, because most everybody, we'll have one or two each year that don't make it, and a lot of times they can't make it because of somebody's got a wedding in the family or something. But I've been well pleased and at the attendance and how much they seem to enjoy coming, because they're driving, down to my house. It's an easy drive even from Tompkinsville.
You're sort of in the sticks here.
I am, and they have to cross the ferry to get here, and
yeah.
so, but they still make the track, and it's just wonderful that we have time to spend with each other, and the coaches come, and the time we get to spend with them, and it's just a special time for me.
Yeah. I believe there were 16 of you. I believe they said 3 had passed, and maybe 3 are not here tonight. So you got 10 out of 16. That's a good turnout. Maybe talk about some of your fondest memories. I know you could go on and on telling stories, but some of the things that you remember about that fall that made this bunch so special.
Well, as I told you, my memory's not much what it was, and I kind of lost. Kathy could remember things, and she'd whisper in my ear who people were before we got to them, where I wouldn't seem so silly. But I think, John, I don't know if there's any one particular thing that stands out, but I think just as a group, the camaraderie that we had, and just how much we love playing, and we love playing each other. I can't remember a time that there was ever, I guess what you might call somebody pointing out somebody else's faults, or well, you missed it. There was never none of that. None of that. It was just encouragement, lifting people up, and I think that shows by today that's still, and many of us have been. I mean, I played defensive tackle, and Brett Crow played linebacker behind me from the time we were in third grade. Yeah. Till we graduated.
Which Little League team were you on?
Black and gold.
So you wore black and gold all the way through.
Vigil Harlan was the coach.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
We hung out with each other through school, and I mean all through, and still enjoy spending time with each other.
Yeah. I believe you were, I think it was, 7-3, I think?
77.
Or I was talking about your record, 7-3. Is there any game in particular that you think back on, any big win or close loss?
I guess there's two that stand out. And one of them was Caverna. Of course, they had a big boy who won the shot put in the state. I think Woodard was his name. And they ran him in the backfield and just ran over everybody. And if I remember correctly, somewhere in the game, he went out of the game. I mean, his shins were bleeding and everything else. So that stands out. And then on the I guess the disappointing side was the loss in the regional playoff and everything to Russellville. Yeah. And that was disappointing and everything. And I remember, we kind of tend to remember those things more. Yeah. And I just remember the disappointment and everything. I mean, it just was what it was.
Yeah. Well, I know that all the guys appreciate you hosting this, and you're the first one we talked to, so it's time to get out there and eat. You got a lot of good food, but we appreciate it. Anything else you want to add before we let you go? No, we can always bring you back.
Yeah, I'm just extremely thankful that I ended up with this group, and I'm extremely thankful for what they mean to me, and still today. I mean, we I believe are just as close as we were 45 years ago. Yeah.
Now, did you live over in the Bend at that time?
Yes.
So you grew up over here
Yes.
on Turkey Neck Bend. You had to cross that ferry
Yes.
every day?
Yes, and of course, a lot of them, I never was in town except in school, so I never did get to go to town with everybody else until I got 16 and could drive myself. Yeah. So yeah, I was over here and went to school. The first 2 years, I believe it was, I went to Cumberland County, 1st and 2nd grade, and then moved up there. And my mother was director of nursing at the nursing home, and so me and my little brother would ride to school with her and walk to the elementary school. And if I remember right, that's probably how we ended up going to car, because most people on this side of the river, a lot of them went to Cumberland County. Yeah. And everything, but I'm glad I ended up there and ended up where I was. I've had a blessed life and thankful for it.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Jimbo, and have a good evening here with your teammates.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We've got John Garrity with us now. Let's see, John. I think you were the center on the team.
Yeah, I played center.
Who all was on the offensive line?
Best I can remember, I was a center, and I think Little Bill was on the right, and then Bill Baker, and then Kerry, and on the left, I believe it was Randy Murphy, sometimes Brian Dyer, and then Jimbo, and then Hedrick was on the other side, wasn't he? Stephen?
Steve Hedrick.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe Stephen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, have you been to most of the reunions that you've had?
I think I've missed one. I was just looking at the pictures, and I think the one I missed, Timmy Dubry showed up.
Yeah.
But I think I've made every one of them since then, or except for that one.
Well, go ahead and tell us your defensive story. I don't know how many of you went back and forth on both defense and offense, but you said you took advantage one time
Right.
of getting into the defensive
I never
lineup.
played any defense. I was never on the defensive team. But I said something to Brett about it, and I just asked Coach Moore about it. I said one time when we were beating Allen County so bad, one of the defensive linemen got a cramp, and Brett thought it was Little Bill. They took him out. Coach Mack was looking for somebody, and I just ran in and played one play, and then Coach Mack pulled me out. And he said, "Don't do that again." He said, "I wasn't wanting to send you in there," so I'm not sure why that was, but I got to play one defensive play, I think, my senior year.
Yeah.
So,
Of course, you mentioned some of those other. Of course, Barry, I guess, a pretty good side, but you weren't the biggest guy back then as a center.
No.
No. How'd you hold your own in there with that big line?
well, we played good in our guards. Little Bill really helped me out. I watched the video that you done with the other guys and the coaches and stuff, and they talked about Caverna, and I know Big Ed Woodard that played, and he was nose guard. He used to beat the time out of me. But Little Bill, he would hit him and then slide off on his man, and got some relief on that part. We didn't play a lot of teams that had a nose guard. Most of them, I think, played like a 4-3 and then back. But I know Caverna played 5. But with our line that we had, I mean, you look at the guys. We had some tush hogs in there,
Yeah.
and if you wanted to take off and push, it's like Brett said. I think they said, what was it, the tush push that we done? So we had some big old boys in there.
And I don't think you had any shotgun snaps, did you? It
No.
was pretty much all under center, the
I
quarterback.
think everything was under center.
Yeah.
And we done a little bit too, which we had Norman as quarterback. A lot of times when we came up, and if the defense was spread a little bit, he'd just pinch a little bit on my butt. We'd center the ball and run a quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
And whenever he done that, I would just say, "We're going," snap the ball, and the whole line pushed. I mean, our quarterback sneak, we could run a 20-yard game with a quarterback sneak that's, not a,
We run it a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's unheard of, but everybody knew when we took off, we went.
Yeah. They, a lot of defenses will give you that.
Right. Yeah, that center right
Oh,
through there.
through that.
Right. They expect their linebackers to come down and push. But now our guys, our guards and tackles picked up a lot of players.
Yeah.
They really did.
Well, are there any games or any memories you have of any of those games that come back to you?
Well, the Caverna game, because like I think Coach Miller said, like 10 years down the road, I still had a little few headaches and stuff like that, because he was a big old boy. He really was. But I know you talked about and asked about the camaraderie. Our group of guys, our senior group, I came from Joe Harrison Carter. I went to elementary school there. So I wasn't one of the city kids, basically. But when I hit 7th grade and went to the big auditorium there at the old Tompkinsville High School and met with everybody, it was just like they absorbed you. I played Little League with the red team, green team, I think the gold team and stuff like that. I remember David Anderson's daddy, Leroy, was our coach. We all gelled. all the group that we played with, all the way through from 7th grade to our senior year, we played Little League together, you know. But it's like Brett and all of them said, you know, it's basically family. You know, if you needed something, we used to go to Coach Mac's house, you know, with Little Bill was in there, you know, we used to go there, we'd spend the night, Friday night after ball game. They might be 7, 8, 10 of us sleeping on the floor, sleeping in beds, get up Saturday morning, and Barbara was cooking us breakfast. You know, Miss McClendon was fixing us breakfast and stuff like that. So it was a tight group that would do anything for anybody.
Yeah. Good memories, and I know you and all the other guys enjoy being here for this, and appreciate you coming in to share some of your memories.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
All right, thank you.
We have Kevin Pruitt now. Kevin, we talked to Jim Finley earlier. He was Turkey Neck Bend, and you were way on the other side of the county, and where?
Right up Mount Herman. That was part of right into Barron County, right on the edge. So I knew a lot of people from Barron County and that type of stuff also, because we had a general store out there, and a lot of our customers come from Monroe and Barron County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went all the way from east to west on this team. Now, what position did you play, and what position did you play with this team?
Played defensive end.
Okay.
And like I said, well, me and Ricky Davis, I mean, bless his soul, and we played our senior year. And I didn't have any knowledge of football whatsoever and that type of stuff, and it was a good time, good learning experience, and great coaches and stuff that pushed us. That was one thing about it. They did push us to to our max.
Yeah, and a couple of guys have talked about the Little League team they played on. So when did you get involved with football, and what convinced you to get on the football team?
It's just the other classmates saying, we're trying to build a team for our senior year and stuff, and Coach, he asked me and Ricky during PE sometime or other if we were interested in us when we were juniors, and we want to play senior year. I said, well, I have to talk to my mom and dad, find out if it's okay with them. But yeah, the one big experience too I'll never forget is we just played Barron County, beat them by 1, is that right?
Yeah, 7-6.
Yeah, and the next day, the linebacker was a friend of mine that I was out helping his brother cut the back out. And I was cutting it, and Richard McClark was his name, and he was spiking. We talked about the game, how this and that type of thing. A lot of people didn't know that story. I had to cut the back of an opposing team.
Well, you had bragging rights.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He talked about this, how he done that, and he done that. But he was a thorn in our side back then.
Yeah. So can you remember any big hits you had from coming from that defensive end position?
I think the practices, that type of stuff that we had, that's where we got most of our thing in. And then also, I got to play on the kickoff team against the Mayors. That was I did get the guys and that type of stuff. But that's one thing. Then another game, I think it was playing Tompkinsville, and I got to play that game too, because once we got ahead, me and Rick got to play a lot.
Yeah.
We was ahead by 20 points or whatever, and the coach put us in. And I'll never forget, I was getting defended, and the running back come through, and I just reached out. The only thing I get hold of was his helmet. And I come back and say, that's crazy, man. It's a 15-yard penalty. I didn't know any of that stuff, because I didn't know football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been to most of the reunions that they've had?
Well, yeah, that's the one thing about it. Jim knows, and I wish I could have made for other teammates' funeral. I mean, that was a tough time, but I've been downstate. I've been in Indianapolis for close to 40 years.
Yeah.
Moving back and that kind of stuff, and hate to hear that and other stuff. But I'm glad Jimbo does this. It's just I wouldn't miss it. I mean, that's the thing that I wouldn't miss it. It's super great house.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, it's good to see you. Glad you're here this year, and glad you were a part of this team.
And I was saying, I respect the coaches a lot. That's tough on them, but that's good.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, we got two of our coaches here tonight, Coach Larry Moore and Ricky Miller. We talked to you a few nights ago, but Coach Miller, have you thought of any stories that you didn't share with us the other night?
I pretty well done my due the other night. It's just a special team. You know, John, I can't believe there's many things like this going on across the state of Kentucky. Teams, now I can see, you know, maybe some state championship teams, but I just can't see, you know, that they do something like this. It's just heartwarming and it's so memorable, going back to years.
Yeah. Coach Moore, what about you? Any other thoughts you have about this group? Of course, it's only the seniors that come. I know we had contributions from other players, but it's the seniors that meet here every year.
Yeah, it's great. We really appreciate Jimbo having us down here and have a good meal. He loves to cook, so and we oblige him by eating it. So he's a top-notch young man, and we just thank him for having all these seniors down here. And the cheerleaders was coming, but we got cheerleaders out there tonight.
Couple,
Seniors, and it was just a special group of young men. I mean, they worked hard. When they hit the field, you know they was there for a purpose. And we just appreciate the effort that they put out for us. It's just like James said, you know, we had fun out there. We worked, but we had fun.
Yeah.
And they just all gel together, and you can't meet one of them now on the street unless they have something to say about it.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to me, and a lot to them too.
Well, I know they have a lot of respect for you and the other coaches that got them through that year and helped them as much as you did. And I know it meant a lot to them, and it's meant a lot to them through the years. I appreciate you guys being here tonight, and enjoy the visiting with everybody again tonight.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, John.
Got Brian Dyer with us now, another member of this the fall of 1980 football team. Brian, what position did you play during that year?
Well, on offense, I played right guard, and defense, we started out in the 4, and I played linebacker. Then we switched to a 5-man line, and I played nose guard.
Okay.
But I had quite a bit of help. Some big boys on the side of me on both ends, and 2 tackles. I was probably the smallest one.
I was talking to John Garrett about him being the center. He wasn't real big. You weren't real big, but we had some good-sized tackles, didn't we?
We did. We had a lot of heart. We didn't have. Some of us wasn't real big, but we tried to play it hard and give all we had.
And sometimes, you know, the nose, maybe the smaller, the speed or whatever, the quickness and knowing where to go. Brett the other night, he talked to us about the change of defense, how that seemed to spur you on. How did that make a difference when you changed your defense?
Well, at first I didn't like it because we played Barron County and played before. And I was playing linebacker, and I just had all kinds of freedom, you know. I could run around. I had several tackles that night, but then when they said we're going to a 5 and we're going to put you at nose man, I thought, well, you know, I don't know about that. I weighed 155 pounds, but I found out I was pretty quick, and a lot of those big linemen I could get by them before they could react. So it worked out pretty well. But I'd have done anything for these coaches here. They meant the world to me.
Any games in particular? Any nights that come back vividly that you like to stories that you remember?
Well, I hear, you know, some of my teammates, Brett, and some of them, they talk about certain things that happened during the game, and I can't remember what they're, you know, but there are a few things. I remember the Russellville game. It just broke my heart that it was over. You know, we all, at the end of our junior years, I think we all just kind of decided that next year we got all these seniors. We're gonna go as far as we can go, and hopefully win a state championship. But we started working hard. We started lifting weights, you know, during that basketball season, and trying to prepare for the next year. And everybody was, you know, just focused that that's what we were going to do. And at the end of that game, I mean, it just felt like you just ripped my heart out. I just couldn't believe it was over. But we had a good run. We had a good team, and these guys, we've all been close through that whole time. It was a big part of growing up, and hanging out with all of them. And when it was over, it was just devastating.
Yeah. Of course, you're just a couple hours away, not a real far distance away, but what's it mean to you to come back every year to get together with these guys?
I look forward to it every year, to be with these guys and spend time with them and talk about it, you know, the games and even the practices. I remember a lot of the practices more as much as I do what happened in the games.
Yeah.
The hamburger drill and running half line, you know, and it was just fun. It was one of the best times of my life.
I guess some of those things, the practices, you know, some of those things, not real enjoyable, but I guess it takes you a few years later to realize that that's what was important about getting you ready for those games.
Absolutely, and we had some good leadership. Our captains, Brett and Kerry and them, they kept us, you know, in line, and coaches did. And you play like you practice. You know, they preached that to us. If you don't take your practice serious, you know, you can forget about the game on the Friday night. And we always did. Try to play as hard in practice as you do on Friday night.
Yeah. Anything else, Brian, before we let you go?
I just want to thank Coach Moore and them for teaching us and guiding us and being a big part of my life growing up. I never will forget it.
Yeah. Well, good to see you down here again tonight. And
Right.
Coach Moore's got a story on you, I think.
Okay.
Now, we just had so much fun when we practiced. You know, we'd run a drill. We'd run a pitch-out tackle drill. And we just involved everyone who was involved, 6, 7, or 8 of them, you know. And then everybody else around us, you know, all the rest of the players, they'd be going crazy, you know, pulling for each other, one side or the other, you know.
Right.
And that was different drills, you know. We'd hit the sled, you could hear us all the way up to Crossroads. They just loved it so much.
We did love to hit. Or I know I loved to hit. That was my favorite part of the game, was the hitting.
Yeah. Well, I think he gave up 58 points in 10 games. A lot of zeros, a lot of shutouts. So he had a good defense.
Yeah, outside of 2 or 3 games there, we let one, I know, it was a shocker, the Greene County game, I think, was one of heartbreak that we just thought we was going to have in the bag. And to let it to come out of there with a loss we wanted to turn it around. We made a decision to turn things around, and I think we did. You know, Glasgow, of course, Glasgow was always tough opponent for Tompkinsville, Monroe County, but we played good the first half of that game. We just made some mistakes and it got away from us. But the Russellville game is the one that sticks in my craw.
Yeah.
It was a hard-fought defensive game, both sides, but yeah, it was just devastating.
It's one of those, it hurts a little bit more to know what 2 weeks later they were the state champion.
Exactly. Yeah. I think didn't they go on and run away or beat everybody else pretty bad?
They walked in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
You know, just the camaraderie we had and the closeness. And when we wasn't on the field, you know, we were hanging out together, just having fun, and everybody loved to practice. We didn't have anybody that I know of that remember laying down or saying, you know, I wish we didn't have to practice. Everybody was eager and anxious because we were determined what we wanted, and we was willing to do what it took to get there.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what made it so devastating in that last game. But yeah, it's one of the best times of my life, and made friends forever, and coaches that taught us and led us, and never will forget none of us.
Well, enjoy your evening here with the others that were here, and have a safe trip home.
Yeah, we're glad you're here, and be with us too.
We got Barry Murphy with us now. Barry was a part of this fall of 1980 team. Barry, what part did you play? What position?
I played left guard
On the offense?
on the offense.
Okay. Now sometimes guards pull. Were you a straight on blocker? Did they ever have one of those plays where you had to pull out to get in front?
And block both.
Who were you usually leading if you were pulling out?
Brett Crow.
Brett Crow.
And my little brother.
Yeah, no, was Randy a junior that year?
Yeah, Randy was a junior. He played tailback, yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you been to most of the reunions that they've
Yeah, I
had
hadn't
here?
missed one. I hadn't missed one.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are some of the games, or is there any game or any night in particular that you remember from that season?
I remember a lot of them. I remember the Russellville game when we got beat by Russellville in the regional.
Any stories that you might want to tell one Coach Moore doesn't know about?
Well, Coach Moore, he loved me a lot. He took care of me.
Yeah.
That's about it, I guess.
But Brian was just in here. He was talking about practice and actually sort of enjoying practice. Coach Moore talking about, you know, it was more fun than it was work, but it was also something you knew we were getting ready for Friday night.
Coach Moore made sure we had a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. And we tried to prepare for Friday night. Yeah.
So any other thoughts that you have back from that year, or what?
No, that's about it, I guess.
What about what's it mean to you to be able to see all these guys? Of course, some of them you see around Monroe County. Some of them come in to visit, like Brian Dyer. But what's it mean to be able to come back every year to get together with everybody?
It means a lot. It means how much everybody was dedicated to the team and everything. And we have the ones we try to remember, the ones that's passed. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Barry, have a good time visiting with everybody tonight. Appreciate you being here. Coach Moore's got a story on you.
Barry, you correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
In the summer before that year, and you have an accident and it shoots you out.
Yeah, well, I did have. I was about 8th grade when that happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was about 8th grade. Yeah.
I thought you was older.
Yeah.
But you come out of it.
Yeah. Well, Barry, appreciate you visiting with us, and have a good time with everybody.
I'm trying to present you the best way.
That's all you do.
And dim the lights a little bit. 40-something years ago, you think?
Smile, everybody.
So we won't look as great.
Say cheese.
Cheese.
Okay, let me get one. Oh, are you?
Well, everybody's heading out. We're going to close out with Mr. Brett Crow here tonight, and I think you were one of the captains, I think, on the team.
That's right. That's right.
And I know you've had another good night here with, 10 of your
13.
fellow classmates and teammates?
Yeah, 10 out of 13. Of course, we had 16 and 3 are deceased. We always have a good time. It's always good to get together. Of course, this resulted from Little Bill passing away, and Jim had the ideal of getting together and trying not to meet each other at the funeral home or the places that, we want to meet at a place where we can get together and have fun, and it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
We're always grateful to get together, and the story here is the friendship, the camaraderie, the brotherly love. We had a good football team, but we have a better friendship. So it's just a great thing to have grown up in Tompkinsville, played football for the coaches that we had. It's almost like Mayberry, and just a great thing. And I just wonder sometimes if kids this day, with all the stuff they got today, they don't know what they're missing. They just don't know what they're missing.
Yeah, I guess we could call it the good old days.
Good old days. That's correct.
If you could somehow convince them to to enjoy it while they're there. Yeah.
But it's a good thing to get to see your old friends. And there's not many, in my opinion, there's not many bunches or groups of people that still get together and still like each other and still want to fellowship with each other and enjoy each other's company. There's just not many like that. And that's what makes us special, I think.
Yeah. Are there any stories or games that you didn't bring up the other day or the first time we talked that you've thought of since then that you might want to share with us before we let you go tonight? Or?
Well, the Russellville game was just so sad to me because it was an ending, and we knew we would never get to experience that again. And you could look at that as a bad memory, but it's not, because I got to be with the guys, and everything comes to an end, and we just lost the game. And you graduate high school, you go to work, you get married, have kids, whatever you do, and it's just. But my football memories are this: we had good coaches. I'm close to the coaches. I'm really close to Coach Mack, and I believe that living in Mayberry, like I said, they just made it better. And my memory of football is completely, it's not the game, it's the teammates, it's the coaches. That's the outstanding memories that I have.
Yeah. Wins and losses are one thing, but the friendships, that's what lives on forever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a shame that we've lost 3 of them. We've lost Robert Wiles, Ricky Davis, and of course Little Bill, and we do miss them. We do miss them, and they would be here if they were still around. They usually came, and it was just we're just different as a group. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to get 10 out of 13 of anything to come 25 miles in the middle of nowhere to eat a piece of chicken.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think one was actually here yesterday to play golf, but he had to get back to Nashville.
We had to get back to Nashville. That would have been Kevin. But,
yeah.
Lots of good memories. I want to thank you, John, for doing this, because we have a great history in Monroe County and Tompkinsville football and other athletic things, and we need to appreciate where we came from and appreciate where we are now.
Yeah. Brett, thank you for asking us to do this, and just hope everybody has a safe trip home and continued good recollections of such a great group of guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.